Hello and welcome back to Star Citizen. My name is evenleasesc, and today we check out the return of the Star Runner, which is the Mercury Star Runner behind me from Crusader. So we're going to see what's changed between the last big update and now, 3.24.2. So let's go ahead and take a look. Now, really quick, I want to go over an amazing opportunity that's been brought to me, and that's to go over the Tobii Eye Tracker 5. This thing is phenomenal. I'm just going to tell you, I'm not one for adding extra hardware to anything I do. And this thing, I probably wouldn't live a day without now. This thing allows you to, in Star Citizen, track your targets, using just your head or your eyes, depending on which setting you choose, and allow you to engage targets with missiles at off angles, as well as using like your gimbaled weapons in off angles. And it's just fantastic being able to track your targets and also being able to operate the systems of your ship just using your head and your eyes, allowing the freedom of motion, has just been such a game-changing experience for me. And I'm going to be actually making a review on this product, including an unboxing. It's truly amazing, and you can even use it in the first-person shooter aspect, allowing you to kind of keep an eye on your corners as you move along to clear out hostiles, and it's just a fantastic experience. Currently, you can get a 15% discount if you were to go through the link in the comments or the description down below, as well as if you enter into the giveaway down below, you have a chance to win this or a starter pack from Star Citizen. So a very awesome opportunity, and that ends on the 28th of October. So enter while you can, or if you really, trust me, this thing's worth it, and it can be used in, more things and more games outside of Star Citizen, which is truly just awesome. But here in Star Citizen, I love it. I love it. I can't get enough of it, and I would never go back. I'm going to be showing you the exterior of the ship while I talk about the stats, and then we'll go into the interior and kind of show you what's changed in preparation for 4.0 and, the massive multi-crew gameplay that's coming with engineering. So, first, let's get into the stats here. This ship is, $260 if you were to buy it on the Pledge Store. In-game, you can still buy it at $12,285,000, on Orison, the city of Orison, in the showroom. So that's the in-game price. Definitely not terrible. Now, if you were to look at the stats from the last update to where we're at now in 3.24.2 on the PTU, its DPS is the same. So the damage per second is still 764 for the pilot. And then between the two manned turrets, it's 1,540 turret damage per second. So no change there. But taking a look at one of the biggest changes, which is really going to help this ship, it went from 12,000 bubble shield to 56,100 quadrant shield, which is a massive change and definitely one that this ship needed. Now, the Star Runner is meant to go out to, locations and steal data or acquire data and run it across the verse and be able to do that while staying alive, protected, and being able to take a hit without going down so easily. So that shield change alone is going to be a massive difference, especially when that gameplay gets in. Right now, it's more like just a glorified medium, freight transport, which, sure, it can definitely do that. It still holds, 100 and I think it's 100. Yeah, it's 114 SCU of cargo. So it's holding 114 SCU of cargo, and that's if you don't stack it past its SCU cargo grid. So 114, definitely not terrible. It's not meant to be like that primary role, but it's a good secondary role for the ship because now it's got that bigger shield. It's allowed to do that. It's able to take a hit, and it's not as slow anymore. So the ship HP stayed the same. It's still 37,400. The ship speed went from 205 SCM to 215 SCM. So it got a boost, a little bit of a boost, which is good. It's supposed to be at this ship's, size, one of the fastest ships in the game because of its intended role. So it went from 205 to 215 SCM. I feel like they need to wiggle that up just a little bit more, make it about 225, 230, and you might be a lot closer to its intended area, but we're getting there. We're getting in the right direction with balance passes. The navigation speed didn't change, still 1200. So 1200 is a pretty good nav speed. It's definitely not the fastest. It's just definitely not the slowest either, which is good. A lot of the other stats didn't change. So still got 48 decoy, 5 noise. Your pitch, yaw, roll is still 30, 30, 60. So not the best, not the worst. I mean, this thing, it maneuvers like crap. It's very, very bad in the maneuverability area, but what do you expect, right? It can't be the greatest at everything. And then outside of that, like I said, it carries 114 SCU of cargo. It has 5.93 internal SCU of cargo for the crew. So once you can, have that accessibility to that internal cargo, you can't yet, but once you do have that, it'll be nice to be able to store a bunch of crap, which you can definitely do. It's almost 6 SCU of internal, space, which is fantastic. Now, the mass of this ship is 715,175, so she's very heavy. Now, taking a look at the hydrogen fuel, this thing, I'm not sure of the new way that they're scaling hydrogen and quantum fuel. It's kind of interesting because prior it was 4,850,840 hydrogen fuel. Now it's 100 SCU of hydrogen fuel, which I think 1 SCU is 1,000 fuel. So in that regard, it's 100,000 fuel, which means that we've taken a massive hit in that department, unless they're changing how the fuel really, consumption is. So obviously all the fuel numbers are changing currently. So I can't be accurate on this number at all. I mean, I really don't know the route they're going with their fuel right now, if it's going to be uber expensive or if the fuel gets you a lot further, or, there's a lot of what ifs going on right now. So hopefully we'll have some more concrete answers on that soon, because the quantum fuel went from 9,740 to 6 SCU of quantum as well. So that'd tell me that's 6,000 quantum fuel, which is not a lot. I mean, if honestly, if it stays that way, you nerfed the fuel percentages quite dramatically. So I have a feeling that ain't going to stay that way, but we'll see. Now, taking a look at the ship's EM rating, she's a big ship. I mean, she sits at 51 meters in length, 55 meters in width, and 19 meters in height. But her EM rating went from 18,871 to 16,706. So in a way, it got buffed there too. Now it's a little bit more stealthy when you're just running standard operating and not, changing the way your systems are running, or, removing certain aspects of your ship to prevent some of that EM rating. So that's kind of nice. A little bit stealthier there. The in-game price, like I said, it's the same as it was prior. So 12,285,000. It's still only got the one entrance, so only one entrance in the rear. As you can see now, I'm inside the ship here. Right behind me, I got a nice little outpost, very beautiful lighting. Gotta love that. The lighting updates in the PTU look fantastic. Gotta love it. Now, you'll see there is a fire extinguisher right here next to the entrance area button, which that's kind of nice. It's interesting. It's got this door. Can't wait to see how that operates. And then you're the way the hinges are, you're going to be covering your only exits panel when you got to grab the fire extinguisher. I think that's hilarious. Just grab the door and rip it off, right? And then if you move over here into engineering, it's funny. This thing went from the bigger to the bigger. Oh, gosh. Went to the bigger shield. And so right here, you see this massive shield generator completely out of place, but installed right here. So that's interesting. The way that this massive shield generator is just positioned here now under or above all these components that are originally here. So you still have all your component access, and then that massive generator that just looks really out of place. I wonder if they're going to later on have like kind of a little bit of a redesign. Looks like they kind of already shaped that up a little bit differently. So gotta love that. And then you have an engineering terminal installed over here. So that's where you're going to be able to, take care of your engineering, which is kind of a big bummer, honestly, personally. This terminal is way across from where all your crew are going to be. This is the very rear of your ship, and this is your engineering terminal. That's insane. Like, your crew is going to be all the way up there at the pilot seat and the gunner seats and, the radar dish, not over here. That, or you're just going to have someone dedicated just standing here, making sure, just standing here, just standing here, making sure everything's good to go, because this terminal is just in a very interesting spot. Now, right now, there is a lot of graphical glitches with the newest update 3.24.2 within this ship. It's hit and miss. Sometimes it's like, oh, wow, everything's looking great. But then there's other times where it's not. right here is one of your fuse panels. So you got the 3 fuses here. Obviously, there's only 2 in there right now, but that's one of them. So in the engineering room, you would expect that to be here, right? Now, if we make our way to the cargo room here and then go across to, you know, the uber secret area. Now, I don't even know why it's a secret area anymore. It shouldn't be, because now you have 2 of the most important pieces in your ship out of 5 down here in this secret area. So, of course, some of your cargo can be here, like in a shielded, you know, stealthy area. But then if you go down into your crawl space here, it actually has another fuse panel box here with 3 of them. And then if you continue on, you know, they added functionality to this gimmicky space, right? And I call it a gimmicky space because no other ships have this, and that's just so random. And here's another fuse box area. So it's like, now you're going to have to crawl around underneath the main floor of your ship to make sure you are still, you know, running within 100% proficiency, because I can't operate this secret door anymore. So that's bugged. But these 2 fuse panel locations are very interestingly placed. They're trying to make the underneath floor have a, you know, purpose to it, which I can totally understand, because prior it really was gimmicky. But now it's kind of like, now you have a reason to get down there, so now it shouldn't be as much of a secret, right? It's no longer a smuggler's, you know, tunnel or whatnot. This is going to be a very crucial part of your ship to keep it operating. So I'm going to go ahead and close this door here, and then we'll make our way into the main living area. Like, I never use this. The ladder doesn't work, so you just got to jump. Yeah, it's interesting. Right here's your servers, of course. So when you actually get the data running in, this is where you would do that. So nothing changed there. Nice little fire extinguisher randomly on the wall here. It's just on the wall. There's nothing holding it or anything, but there's one of them. So another fire extinguisher there. Then you have your radar, you know, support seat here. So this is where you're going to do a lot of your radar scanning. Nothing else in here. I've always thought this room was kind of a waste of space. I feel like you could add totally so much more stuff in here. So maybe someday, right? There's a lot of screens around here. You'd think they'd be able to have access to the engineering terminal from a lot of these screens, but that's to say that might change. It might not. And then, of course, you get your 2 man turrets, the one that goes underneath and then the one that goes above. So, and a little bit of a graphical bug here as well. So you're going to see these graphical issues throughout the ship when you're walking around. So definitely expect that. A lot of times when I entered this ship, there was like no lights on in certain corridors, but then there was lights on in other corridors. It was very interesting. Right here's another randomly placed fire extinguisher. It's just nice to have, I guess. But they are just randomly kind of thrown about without really anything holding them there. Right here is your crew quarters. Nothing's really changed. So looks the same, you know. This is where one day you'll have access to your storage. As of right now, you just open these up, and it's kind of like where you have your armor lockers, but you don't have access to the storage otherwise. Just you got your beds and everything, and then you got like panels on the wall for lighting, and so looks pretty interesting. And then of course you got your bathrooms, which you know, the buttons are on the side, so gotta press that, and then yeah, nice little bathrooms, one each on each side, so pretty nice. Then if you make your way over here, I mean, same old habitation area. A little bit of graphical issues in here too, especially the scary exit to the door that sometimes happens. Right now, like I said, it's so hit and miss. A lot of times, like the lighting here will be flickering and stuff, but right now it's not, of course. It's the second I mention it, right? And then sometimes when you exit this door, this is here. It's a very shocking experience, but that's there. And then you make your way through here, and you got another fire extinguisher. It looks a little bit more like it should be there, right? Even got the fire symbol and another fuse panel. So this is another fuse panel that you're going to be operating this ship and hopefully keeping it, you know, flying, which is kind of interesting. And then you enter here, and you got another fuse panel. So you got one there, and you got one here, you got 2 under deck, and then you got 1 in engineering. So you got a total of 5. This ship has a lot of fuses. Or, you know, whatever these things are called. If they're not fuses, I apologize. But yeah, it's got a lot of these stations that are going to, you know, potentially disable your ship. That's a lot of what the lighting's doing, like in the living area. So yeah, otherwise, the biggest changes are the stats. You know, the numbers, they're finally coming to a more comfortable position to fly this ship. Even, you know, with it not having its intended gameplay. So if you have had an MSR in the past and you're like, oh, this thing just isn't where it needs to be, maybe now it's going to be closer in 3.24.2, But then when engineering hits, you're going to be sitting there going, oh my God, what do I do? Because now you need like 5 people just to keep up on all the fuse panels and the engineering in the back of the ship. And then, your gunner stations, because you don't have enough damage per second at the front of the ship, especially since she moves very, very rough. So it's going to be pretty interesting. Let me know what you guys think of the changes to the Mercury Star Runner down in the comments below. Do you have one? Do you plan on getting one? It's pretty interesting. Very interesting changes, and I can't wait to see how it works out for the ship, if at all. So, yeah, let me know. Let me know what you think. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.